I'm going to explain how getting married, starting a family, and investing in the stock market is setting up my family and I for an amazing life. I think I had a normal upbringing. My family was middle class. I had an older brother, have an older brother. Did okay in high school. Not a huge, athlete. Didn't really hit a growth spurt till later, but I was always trying to date people. Like it felt like I was always meeting people and going on dates with them. And that's kind of how my high school was. I got out of high school, looked at the military, and I've been active duty in the military for almost 4 years. And I met my wife a year ago, and I am I have never been this happy. If I would think back even a year ago or even 2 years ago or when I was in high school and think about how would getting married feel like, I would not even think it would feel like this. It's kind of one of those things that you don't know until you know. But for me, I feel like I stumbled into a relationship that I didn't expect. Because for a while, I was just kind of dating people. You know, I had the Tinder, I had the Hinge, just going on dates. I did some stuff without apps, and had some success. But mainly, I was just going on dates to have fun. And then I somehow met the most amazing person ever. And I've not looked back since. It's almost like I met that one person and then everything else just kind of disappeared. All the previous dates kind of just went away quick. And I've never been happier. So we'll start off where I met my wife. So growing up with a normal childhood, I had an issue with acne. I was always like the kid with pimples. It hit when I was in high school, definitely like freshman to sophomore year it hit. And I had acne up until my 23rd birthday. So yeah, acne sucks. And I had done probably all the normal treatment to try to get rid of it. I mean, and it was definitely like my biggest insecurity. And it just wouldn't go away. So throughout like my dating, I remember I'd have dates where I would have acne versus dates where I didn't have acne, and I could notice a significant difference in just confidence and, you know, sometimes even how the date went. So yeah, it took a pretty big toll. And then I joined the Coast Guard and I still kind of battled with it. Some part of me was like, I guess it's just going to go away sometime. And it kind of didn't. And that's until I started going to a dermatologist in the military, and then I finally found the right dermatologist, the right doctor, and I got on Accutane because I had been on it I think 2 times prior. So it was like, let's just try this again. And so I go on Accutane, and so at the time I'm actually dating somebody. But I go on Accutane, and again, it's not like I'm looking for somebody else, or you know, again, dating was just kind of, it was like a hobby. It was fun to do. I knew the person I was with that wasn't like the person I wanted to be with for the rest of my life. And so I dated her, and well, I went to this dermatologist every month. And I went there for about 5 months. And then my acne and all that kind of cleared up. But going to the dermatologist at the time, there was this receptionist that I didn't flirt with her because, again, I was dating somebody, but I definitely was like this girl's cute, right? Like any guy is. And so I go there once a month, say hi to her, have my normal visit, and then be on my way. And so around month 5, I actually broke up with that girl I was dating at the time. And then the next day, I went in for my visit and I go inside to the room and I'm sitting down and, I noticed she wasn't at the desk that day. And I was like, man, I wish she was here because I just, was actually like, heck with that. I'm going to ask her for her number. I was already kind of thinking about it. And then she came in as like the medical assistant for me. Like she was training that day. So her and another girl came in and then they both started like getting my info for like, you know, how I've been doing, symptoms, all that type of stuff. And so I'm talking to her and I noticed she was super nervous. So I felt like maybe this would be maybe she like thought I was cute, right? So they leave, then the doctor comes in and he's talking to me. And this is like a super cool guy, really down to earth. And I'm talking to him and basically I get to the end and I ask him, hey, like, is so and so single? He's like, yeah, I think she's really single. Like, you should definitely take your shot. Like, go for it. And I'm like, all right, screw it. Let's do it. So I walk out. I'm getting my, next visit card. And basically, the receptionist that was there was like somebody breaking in, like they were new. And so she gives me a card for like my next appointment. And I go, hey, can I speak to so and so? Like, I'm trying to talk to her. She's like, yeah, give me a second. So she goes to get this person. And then I look at the card. Okay, it says my date on it. It says my next appointment. Sweet. Turn it around, and it's like I see a number and a name and a heart. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, not that receptionist, but the person I've been thinking about for months now, I guess put her number on this card, right? So she comes up, and well, it's funny because I was like, you actually made the first move. So let's go get some food sometime. And then after that, I mean, fast forward a year now, we're married and we're starting a family and we live together. And she is the best person in my life. She is amazing. And I wasn't looking for a marriage. I wasn't looking for a partnership like that. But I think inside I was like internally I was always looking for that, but it just didn't, certain people didn't, they just weren't it until I met her. And it's funny that I got the best thing ever from something I was super insecure about, which was my acne. And it's just amazing. The first thing I realized once I met her is she's going to become more than just a girlfriend, um, because she improved my life all around so much, and I think that spoke volumes. Um, she was independent, smart, funny, cute, everything you'd want in a girl, and so I wanted those things in definitely a partner, but again, I wasn't really thinking about partner until I started just hanging out with her and I'm like, wow, this definitely can be like a partnership. Like we both impact each other's lives positively and that leads to a happier life, period. I mean, it's not uncommon for that to happen. For anybody who isn't there yet, it's going to happen. Um and I also was in a place where I wasn't into like getting drunk and going to bars and talking to women like that. Like I wasn't ever, I'm not at that place and I've never been at that place. And I wasn't then and I'm not now. Maybe that's because I matured young, but either way, I wasn't at that place when I met her. And I had been on a good amount of dates to be like, I know what I want, I know what I don't want. And so I felt all around good. at where I was when I met her. There is something that I didn't actually take in effect, that I was always independent to where I didn't need to depend on anybody. You know, I left home earlier, younger, for the military, always kind of just been my own person. I love family, but I can be okay not living next to them, you know? And so that's kind of always how I've been, but I didn't realize how depending on someone can actually help you. And it sounds silly to say, but truly depending on somebody, not just saying it, but actually committing to it, will actually unlock freedom and potential you have no idea about. To just kind of let your guard down and actually depend on someone who's going to make your life better. And that's really what it's about, letting your guard down. For a while I would date people, date women, and, I couldn't care less if they walked away or if I walked away. But with the right person, you want them around. And so that leads me to today, where me and this beautiful, beautiful partner started a family, and I'm going to be a dad soon. And so we could segue into that. So starting a family. I think when I was younger, my dad would always say, when you get to my point, or when you have kids one day of your own, you'll understand. And he would usually say that when he's talking about a state of mind. Why he did something, why he decided to do something, why we can't, as me and my brother, go somewhere. And so I always wondered if that would actually be the case. And well, I can say before even being an actual dad, that's the case. So I've been living with my partner for a while now. And right away, I realized that we live pretty well together, very compatible. And that's amazing. That makes things very easy, which is good. But I didn't realize starting a family actually will change how you think almost immediately. And how to explain this to anyone who's younger or even older who doesn't understand, I'll try to explain it my best. When you start a family, when you start to think, I'm going to be a dad, and there's going to be someone else who depends on me more than anything in the world, that has made me already a better person. It's true that your thinking actually changes. I mean, I'm right around the stage of where I think the human brain stops growing. I'm soon to be there. I'm young. So that may have an effect on this, but I truly have to admit that I've started thinking more strategically and more precisely about my future than I ever have. And that's crazy to me. Because I feel like before this, when I was just independent, no one to depend on, no one to depend on me besides people I work with. And that's not a bad state to be in, but I just was stuck in that state. I think I was too selfish. And what I've learned is being selfless has given me more freedom when you depend on people and they depend on you. More so that, I'm going to be a dad, and I think to myself, well, what would my kid one day want to see as a father? Or what kind of childhood will they want? And so these questions those are just two questions that will make you start to think. But no, truly, it actually, without me really realizing, and until now, like, it took me a second to actually realize this. But I actually started thinking differently about life in a way that I can't explain. With having a great partner brought me a side of life I didn't see. Soon to being an actual father has done the same thing. And I just can't wait to have an actual family. It's as if I know it's going to get better and better and better and better. Yes, more responsibility. Yes, people are depending on you. But now that that is the case, everything I do is accurate and precise, and I know where I want to go, and I know better where I should go. Because for a while, I think a lot of things were unknown. I had ideas about different things I wanted to do, and it's tough to make those decisions, especially when you're married, especially when you have a family. But truly, being selfless has freed me, helping others instead of thinking of myself. It's a two-way road, a relationship. If you want a good relationship, it's a two-way road. You give 100% and they give 100%. And together, you build something beautiful. And that's what's happening. It's an amazing thing. When you have people depending on you, you find a way. If there's anything key to take away, it's that. Maybe that's pretty common sense to somebody. But having a healthy dynamic and just the way it evolves you to the next level, it directly impacts making money. That's a fact. I mean, directly impacts you with every financial decision you make. Maybe not at the start. It took me a second to realize, oh, my money needs to work for me. Oh, my money needs to be played in this way. It needs to be set aside for this. It needs to be set aside for this. Oh, I need to save up for this because I need to be ready for when this happens. I mean, just like the ball starts to roll, and it starts to roll fast. And I can't just be grateful enough for actually having a beautiful dynamic to help me. She's amazing. When you think of yourself too much, nothing gets done. When you think of others, new doors open and you find the best way. And so, what did I start doing when I found out that I was going to be a dad? I made some financially smart moves, but I really started to think about the long-term future. And I had a thought, an old thought. When I was a kid, I used to listen to my dad tell stories. It was like my favorite thing ever, for him to drive around and for me to listen and for him to tell stories. And for some reason, I remember him telling a story about someone he knew growing up who was just like him. And this person started to invest young into the market to where this person now was an adult with a family. He was financially free. And that kind of played into the story, but to sum it up, hearing that as a kid, it kind of intrigued me. I'm not sure why, because trust me, I'm not a math person. But in the recent years of actually getting into the stock market and actually understanding what stocks do and understanding truly what compound interest can help you do, I've realized that There's a lot of those stories happening right now, soon to be told. Imagine if you put $150 a month or a check somewhere that it would compound and give you much more than you would ever realize when you're older. I mean, just the aspect of that is kind of crazy by itself. I had or have a friend who is pretty keen in on day trading. I would say he's pretty good at it. He's shown me what he's made, and I would say he is successful. Very successful. I mean, enough to, leave the military and go do it full time. And so I remember he kind of got me into looking at the stock market at the time. This was a while back. So at first, my kind of thought towards it was, oh, so this is how you make money on the stock market. As soon as I looked into it, I realized quickly, okay, this really isn't for me. At least it definitely didn't feel like it. And then once I started to look into it, I mean, he told me to buy a book. I started reading candlesticks, and I immediately was like, no, this is not for me. But as soon as I came across the power of compound interest and how that can inevitably set you up for success, it blew my mind. So, a major change I did, I got really strict with my finances. Payday became my favorite day, not because I'm going to spend money, but because I'm going to invest it. I got addicted to actually seeing money leave my bank account. It was crazy. As soon as I get paid, it's like money just kind of evaporates. And by the end of day 3, after I put all my money into places they need to be, the amount that I have for myself is a very small percentage of my check. And that to me is impressive. That I'm making my money work. And you can make your money work as well. And do it while you're young. That's the whole thing. You got to start young. Start as young as you can. And the best time to start is now. And I realized that I read a few books. Nothing crazy, but something that I realized quick was that the stock market is always going to go up and down. There's always going to be disaster and turmoil, and people are going to lose their heads when certain things happen. But as long as you're playing the long game, as long as you could look through that, stick it out, and continue to aggressively invest your money, I think I have the potential to have a good portfolio in 20 years. I think I know I will. Because I'm thinking about my future when I'm 40. I'm thinking about my future when I'm 50. I'm thinking about my, family's future when they're all 20. It's truly amazing what you can do at this age of life. We're at a point where you can really be successful. You just have to begin to think right. And it's tough to get there. I understand it's tough to get there. Because there are days where I have bad days, but I think what I'm really trying to get at is if there's something that you should be focusing on, it's setting yourself up for success. If that's something that you want to focus on, I'm sure you could do it alone. Sure. Many people do. But I want to say if you meet the right person and you procreate and you add to this world, I think mentally that's a way for automatic success. Because it changes the way you think. You have a partner who's going to help you. And overall, you're adding to life. That's amazing. That's amazing. And while you're doing that, you're setting your family up for success because you're aggressively investing in the stock market and you're making your money work. You're putting your money to work. That's amazing. So, getting married, starting a family, and investing in the stock market, to me, they have everything in common. Because, truth be told, I wasn't investing in the stock market before I was married. I wasn't really looking into it before I met my partner. Because I didn't read books. She's a bookworm. I started to actually pick up books and read them and understand and take the knowledge from it. It's true what they say that knowledge is the true wealth. Wealth is knowledge. You need to invest in yourself to get to the next level. And I know I keep saying the next level and evolving. I don't want you to think this is a scam. It's definitely not. Those are the words because it's true. You don't know what you don't know. That's a fact. How do you expect to become more if you don't know what you don't know? I now read every day. I now like to read. And I've read a lot more since I've had the motivation to learn more. I think reading this title kind of sounds goofy because why would you think these things have anything to do with each other? But in reality, they all have so much to do with each other. You don't have to do it alone. You don't have to worry about the future if you're actively attacking to get to the future. You're not actively thinking of these things. What else is there? Every day I'm trying to become better. You should try to become better every single day. And the point of this video is I'm just saying it's easier when you have a partner. It's easier when you're not being so selfish. I get more work done when I'm selfless. Think about that. That's remarkable. And that's an amazing way to live. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a little bit long, but I've been a viewer on YouTube for a while, enough to where now I need to speak. And something I wish is that I wish people had longer videos, because I think there's more to talk about than what is talked about. And that's okay, because I'm going to create more now. It's time for me to give back. So, I hope you enjoyed this footage. Please comment below what you thought. Until next time, thank you for your time and attention. Have a blessed day.